Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. It's Kim. Today we are doing part 3 of the Craft With Me Vintage Lapbook project, and this is my favorite part, I'm not going to lie. It's the embellishing. Um, so before we get into it, I want to just show you where I'm at right now. So if you're crafting along with me, you've created your blank book base, and you've gone ahead, and if you chose to, sewed your ruffles on the edge of each page, and you've put down like your base kind of layer of lace. So that's what I've done throughout the book. So I'll show you where I'm at. And then I covered the pockets as well on the pages that have pockets. And I tried to mix up different colors, all kind of in the same family, as you can see. And every other page has the pockets. And this one's got some pretty dangles at the bottom already built into it. So here's where I'm at. You see I used some taupees, whites, gold almost, this one is, ivory and white. This is like a ecru, and then this pretty taupe and white, and then on the front and back it's like a cream. So this is a fun part. So what I have around me, if you could see my desk right now, it's all of my favorite things. I have a bunch of doilies, I've got trims, lots of vintage pieces, vintage linens, I've got laces, dangle laces, appliques, bridal appliques, vintage buttons, all kinds of goodies that, like, my favorite thing to play with. So I have not planned this ahead of time. As I discussed earlier, my my process is that all of my pretties and all of my favorite things inspire me. So I just kind of have everything out, spread all over the place. I should have taken a picture to show you guys. It's pretty funny. So everything is basically within arm's reach, or I have buckets on the side of me in case I didn't pull out enough stuff. So the only thing that I have pre-thought, so to speak, was that I wanted to use this beautiful piece. I believe it's like a placemat, but I just love it. And since I'm making this book for me to keep this time, I really want to use the things that I treasure and, showcase some of my really pretty things. And I just kind of, put it over and folded it over to see how it would look, and it just kind of hangs over just enough to make that pretty. So I decided that I want to put this over my cover, because what we're going to be doing when we embellish is kind of layers. My preference is I like to have danglies, on every page. So I know that I'm going to want to do this on the cover as well. So before I actually attach this to my book, I want to think about what's going to be on the bottom. Because if I want it to be, I'm just going to use something for example. If I wanted to put this on the bottom, I have a choice. I can put this down first before I tack this down, and then this would go over top of it, or I could apply it over top. So it's completely your preference. But before you tack down the bottom of anything, just make sure you weren't wanting to put a dangle down first and have that piece go over top of it. So I am going to think about that and look through some of the goodies that are around me. I pulled out tons of dangle laces and different vintage kind of trims. So let's see. So if you're going to use something like this, I would put this down first. And don't be afraid to do layers of your dangles too. Like I like to do that. I'm probably going to put down something and then another layer over top of it. I just kind of go through until I find a combination that I like. There's no science to it or anything. I just see what combinations of things that I like together, and colors. Like if I know this is cream and now this is white, I could put, as you can see, that's a cream lace dangle, or I could put a white one, and they both match really well. And you see, if you were to stagger them and use them both, that's equally as pretty. So don't be afraid to do that. Whatever combination that you like is what you should do, since hopefully you're making the book for you. So if it looks good to you, trust your judgment and go with that. Now, of course, because I have everything spread out all over the place, as is always the way, I can't find the one. There it is. Okay. I know I wanted to use this somewhere. This is really, really vintage, and it has a double layer automatically. Isn't that pretty? So I think that this is going to go down underneath, and then there's going to be another lace on top. So I'm going to go ahead and do that before I tack this down on my book. And I apologize, I know it's not fun to watch me glue things down, but there's a reason that we have to do it in a certain order, just, you know, for common sense. You would hate to have glued this down and have to pull it up, and you could rip some of your lace and all of that if you hadn't glued this down first. So I'm going to glue this, and I did not measure, as you saw. I just unrolled it from my roll here, guesstimating, which is what I do. And you know, I usually guesstimate with some to spare, and that way I have a little bag or bin that I put all my little extra pieces in, and those automatically go like I told you before, for clusters. So I'm going to go ahead and put a liberal bead of glue down here, maybe even 2, because we know we are going to put stuff most probably over top of it. And like I said before, you don't have to use hot glue if you don't want to. You can use your Fabri-Tac. It's just my bottle of Fabri-Tac is about empty, and it's getting quite pricey these days. So, and you can see right now, I don't know if you can see, but you can see that hot glue line right there. So I do my little trick and kind of rub off the excess while it's still nice and hot. But it doesn't matter, so like don't worry about that, because not only is this going to be covering it, but there's going to be another piece of lace probably right here. So it's really, really difficult to screw something like this up, I promise. Okay, so we're going to do it around the back side. And if any of you are doing this at home and you run into any issues or anything, you can email me. My email address is my name, kimlippincott87@gmail.com, and I'm always willing to help if you get into a bind. Okay, same thing on this part, and just like I said, I've got a healthy piece left over, so that's going to go in my cluster bin. I only measure, to be honest, when I'm using like the stuff that's in my serious hoard vault, where, you know, I only have maybe 18 inches of an antique lace or something, and then I measure, because I don't want to waste that kind of stuff. Okay, so since we're on the back side, we'll go ahead and tack this side down first. Just make sure you have it spaced out evenly on the top and the bottom while you're doing that. You know, so there's enough space, same amount of space at the top as you had in the bottom. I don't really put any glue in the middle. I just do the top, the bottom, and the sides, because we are going to be tacking things down. It's going to get plenty of reinforcement, so it's really not necessary. And honestly, I really can't stand glue strings, those little buggers. I'm forever picking those off of projects. Okay, so I like that that, you know, hangs over a little bit here. You can foof it if you want, and, you know, kind of pull it up before you press it down into your glue, however you want it to hang down like that. Just going to put a tiny little bit on the top of the spine here, and then we'll flip it over and do the top. I just think it's so much fun. I will say that, you know, to do all the layers is just, I find that part so much fun. And the only thing I can say is sometimes you can get into trouble, I know I do, on editing, because I just want to keep adding and going, and you have to be able to know when to say stop, because It's a very fine line between done and overdone. So overdone to an extent is okay, but not when it's really, really, really overkill. Then it can be too much. So we want to try and find that sweet spot between done and even overdone, but just the right amount and not going completely over. See, I didn't like where that laid, so I just picked it up really quickly because that glue hadn't dried, and I'm gonna put another little spot and kind of swish this a little bit to where I want it to be. There we go. Make sure you have this down pretty good. I'm going to add another little line of glue work because we're going to put some more lace down here. Now I'm not going to put this bottom piece on yet. It's probably going to be this one that I showed you right here, because I want to complete this part first. I know that I'm going to put something right here in the middle where these 4 squares are. As much as I don't want to cover them up, I want to build my layered look. And I think I want to use a doily, that's something that it has been hoarded that I just think is really beautiful, and I only have one of, and that's something like this. It's so delicate and fragile. I just love it. So and it is the only one I have, like I said. So I might pick an equally treasured one like this for the back cover. Something I only have one of, so I'm going to set that to the side for a possibility. You could layer other things. I've got, if you wanted to stick with the square shape, you could put something like another square here, and then you could put like a doily or a cluster here. It's all whatever you have in your stash and whatever looks good to you. Okay, so this one's going to be tricky to glue because it's really, really fragile. So I'm just going to do like little tiny dots along the triangle to do the middle. Try to get it kind of centered here. Really, if I want it centered on my book, it needs to go there. So we're going to put it there. And then you don't completely have to glue this entire piece down. If you just want to, what I do is do like a section at a time, like maybe put a little bit here, a little bit here, a little bit here, and then put it down. Just to get it on there. It doesn't, you don't have to literally glue every single piece. Just enough that it's not going to go anywhere, and if you build on top of it, that'll help reinforce it anyway. Be careful, don't get hot glue on your fingers, and if you see a piece that's sticking up that you don't like, then you can go back and mess with it. But honestly, I'm not super particular about things like that. I try not to stress about those kind of things because I enjoy the process and, you know, the instant gratification of seeing what I'm making and how it's, you know, becoming, and the journey of it. So I really try not to stress, so I have a good time doing this. Okay, so I think we like that, and if I were to put anything in the middle, it would be something small because I really do like this doily and how intricate it is, so I wouldn't want to take away from that. You could put a tiny piece of bling. I am probably going to go with a pretty vintage button, and I keep these on my desk because I use them so much in a little jar. You don't know how many times I've dumped this jar out completely looking for the right button that I wanted, and then, like I'm about to do, and then put it all back together. I have some that I hoard, like these mother of pearl ones that are so beautiful, but you've got to have the right size. That's way too big. So looking for a pretty vintage one. It might be this one because that's a mother of pearl. I think we're going to go with that one. Okay. Probably keep the lid off because we know we'll be going back into that jar again. You could put sequins if you like those. If you have a teeny tiny little applique, that would be adorable. You could pin a brooch right in the center of that, you know, like a vintage brooch. You could make an entire book like this just to hold all your vintage brooches if you collect those. Okay, tiny little bit of glue right there. I think we're going to try and put this on the diagonal like that. Okay. And I try to do, you know, at least on the cover, sort of asymmetrical as far as I've got a doily in the center, so I'm going to put a doily in the center on the back too. So let's see, size on this one. Yeah, we like this, so we're going to tack this one down gently. This is actually fun for me because I know it's okay for me to use the stuff that I don't normally use or that I've been holding on to because I only have one of, because it's going to be mine. So we'll probably end up living on my dresser in my bedroom. These also, you know, these make really pretty gifts. If you know someone collects vintage linens or hankies or things like that, and you want to make a book for them to store them in, or, you know, a bride, mother of the bride, a daughter, you can put, you know, letters and things in the pockets. Daughter-in-law, goes on and on. If you want to, like step 4, once we've done all of our embellishing, like the final step would be like the teeny tiny details. So if you're a details person and you want to take it to the nth degree, you could literally put tiny little pearls in the center of each of those roses. That would be something that I would probably do. Okay. Find a cute button for this center. Got one. The other thing you could do is, if you don't want to use your hot glue or your Fabri-Tac, is you could hand sew all these things down. You could sew all the laces down with your sewing machine if you have one. It's completely what you enjoy. So now I don't think this piece is going to be long enough. Let me see. Yeah, it's not. So we are going to find something different. One of my favorite lacy trims of all time is this one, because I love roses and this definitely speaks my language. I love this. I do like it. It's up to you whether you like the colors or not, and I actually do like all of the different colors in this family. I don't care if they're mixed at all. And then I'm trying to decide if I'm going to put something, there's going to be something on the top, and then I'm trying to decide if I want to put a trim or an applique. Let's see. I pulled out really fancy things like this one that I've had forever. I've got 2 of these. I've been holding on to these. So I think they're going to make it somewhere in this book. I've got some tea-dyed things with roses like this that I pulled out. I also pulled out some really fancy and vintage pieces like this. I have a whole bunch of appliques like this. So this might be something that would be pretty if I put it, you know, on the book. You kind of get the gist of the layers. So let's see. Let me look and see if I have one I like better than that. Could put a trim there instead. Don't like that for there. Keeping with the circles, I could do something like that. but I want it to be a different color. So I think that we will probably go ahead with the rose trim, definitely since I know I have enough of it. So, ooh, I'm getting twisted up in my hot glue gun. Okay. Let's flip it over and start in the back. I hope that I've kind of made this process easy for you. My point in doing this series was I have friends and people that I know that say, oh, I could never do that, you know, and they might be intimidated or something, but it's really not intimidating. It's just, you know, steps and layers, and it's just knowing where to start and what to do, and hopefully by breaking it down I've made it easier, and that some of you will try to do this, because if I can do this, you can do it. It might take some time to build up a stash of these kind of things, but there's definitely plenty of live sales and D-stashes where you can get vintage goodies, and stores online that you can get goodies for books like this. Okay, snip this off. Okay. Now I am trying to see what I want to do with the top. I wish I had more of this. I can't remember where I bought it, and this is one of my favorite trims too. That would be really pretty up here. And it would only be enough for half, so we don't want that. I do like this, but it really stands up, so I don't know if I want that or not. This is another thing that I would put pearls in the center of for another little, you know, added detail if I was using this. Let's see. We've got this small skinny one that we could put up here. You could even do something like that. You could put this, because it's so teeny tiny, you could even put it on top of your roses. Just the best way to see what you like is to, you know, move things around until you find the right spot. Find it where you like it. And then the other old standby that I always have ready to go is GIMP. So you could always, GIMP has a way of just making things look pretty and finished. So you could always put some GIMP up there, which that may end up being, I'm not sure yet. I don't feel like this cover is done enough, so I want to add some more layers, and I'm looking around at the goodies to see what might work. I should have put things so far that I can barely reach them. If you're into symmetry, you know, you could put a little doily down here, another one up here. You could build a couple of little clusters. Oh, I can't find my teeny tiny ones. You know, put a smaller one on top of that, another vintage button in the center. All these are things that you could do. Let's see, I'm just trying to find the right trim for the top. The other thing I did pull out to show you, this is a good thing since my hand just touched it. These are kind of like pieces that I've cut a piece off from another project, and this is a piece that I had left. So there's no reason why you couldn't cut off, you know, kind of cut this off here and put some of it, you know, this part of it hanging down here, and then put this part of it up here. I would even pull this up and put it under it. I actually like that because it's unique. I may end up doing that. So let me cut this really quickly. If anybody has any questions, You can put them in the comments or anything that you want me to address that might help. So let's see, I would have to gently pull this up because it's so delicate. Just a little bit, and then we would glue this down underneath here, and then this piece would go down here. I do kind of like that, so I think we'll do that. I don't know about you guys, but when you're making a video and explaining, I get really thirsty. Too much talking. Now this you want to get down pretty good. I don't want to not glue this properly because you really don't want this flopping around. So now I'm just going to try and find the places where the glue was and put it down again. Put it back down over top. And then put some strategically placed glue on the other side. Ooh, and don't burn your finger like I just did. Ouch. And I like that these things are like, you know, over the top and the little strings and things. I'm okay with that, but if you're not, you can just snip. I like those. I think it gives it character and makes it look even more kind of vintagey. So again, personal preference. And I'm not going to glue these down. I'm okay with those flopping around. But what I will do, there's a difference between, you know, kind of shabby on purpose and then messy. So like these are okay. But if you can see right here, to me that's messy. So I'm going to trim this little piece off because I think that looks messy in this one. This is going to get covered up anyway because we're going to put something on the spine, so we'll just glue that little piece down really quick. Trying not to get glue on our fingers. There we go. I might trim it just a tiny little piece off of there. I think that looks a little better. Okay, I'm going to lift this up really gently too because I just want this to go underneath just a smidge. Yes, that's a technical term. So we're just going to get this where we want it. Kind of like that. Get this back down over top of it. The other thing you can do is, you know, for me, I like to do it as I go. So that sometimes means I'm ripping things up and, you know, putting them back down. And if you don't like that, you know, you could completely lay this entire thing out the way you like it and then glue it all down. For me, the fun of it is just kind of building it and seeing how it's going to turn out and how it looks and what I want to put where. So I kind of just design as I go. It's kind of fun for me. Okay, I like that. Now I want to decide, you could still, you know, put something else there and there. I don't particularly like the one up here. I don't mind this one. but I think I want to do something different. Those might go on the back. I can't decide if I don't think this is the right feel, this piece for right here, even though it's absolutely gorgeous. I think I want to use some appliques. And the other thing is, you know, pretty sure you guys know this, but if you have laces like this, you can make these into little tiny appliques. You can cut just these two little flowers off. You can cut the rosebuds off. You can cut the entire little thing off. It doesn't have to be, you know, the way I used it down here. Okay, so we've got, let's see. This again is one of my favorite appliques because I love roses with the dangles. And I think that might be okay because I actually like how this hangs down. And I also have these tie-dyed ones, and I might cut one of the tie-dyed ones and put it on there as well. Let me snip one apart. I hope this is fun to watch. I appreciate you guys coming and watching, and I hope that you're making one of these too. I think my next one that I'm going to make is going to be boho, but I'm going to use the same blank book base because I have a swap with a friend that I need to make a boho journal. Okay. This is another place where you could put the little pearls in the center of the little flowers. Basically, I'm telling you what step 4 is. It's all those little details where I go back and kind of look at each page and see where I can add just another little oomph like that, you know, the fine details. So I like that, and I think this one is going to go here and cover up that middle one. It's kind of wrinkly, so it might need a little extra glue. I know this has taken a little bit to get this front cover done, but if you're going to spend a little more time on something, you know, the cover is a good place to do it. And for me, now that I know what I've done on my front cover, it's going to make the back cover be faster. I'm going to put these petals down with glue because they're a little curly. And I know there is probably going to be some pearls happening here, so I'm not going to worry about that. I try to keep that in mind when I'm looking to see if it's done or not. For now, I like it. I reserve the right to go back and add more. So we're going to flip this over, and I'm going to do, you know, a little different. I think I'm going to do these guys on this one. So that's going to be pretty easy. Just going to glue these in place. I'm trying to think. I'll try to give shout outs if you're looking to purchase things like this. It's hard. I don't remember where I buy everything that I buy, but I know that the place I go to for doilies most often, I know I got these from her, is Uniquely Yours by Dawn Marie. She has a YouTube channel, and she posts a lot of her, she has a sale every month pretty much, and she posts a lot of things, but she has good doily bundles and all different sizes and things. I know I got this gorgeous rose trim from Bella Vista Marketplace, and that's bellavistamarketplace.com. These I think I bought ages ago from Esme. Oops, it's stuck. So many different places. I know I've gotten things on Etsy, live sales, and Defy auctions, all kinds of places. Okay, so now we're going to see if we want to. I think it's possible that I've got 2 of these left, which I like how that serendipity worked out. So there might be one going over top of this doily and one going down here. I think that's what's going to happen. There's not as much focus on the back of your book, so I don't feel like it needs to be as fancy as the front cover. but that's up to you. Wonder how they must have gotten wrinkly when I was tea dyeing them. Strange. Another option you could do is just, you know, do a doily cluster, put another one on top, small one here with some buttons, whatever you like. I like the color contrasts that I have happening here because I've got, you know, the white, the cream, the ecru, the kind of tea stained, the taupey down here. It's all kind of the colors that I like in my color family that I'm using in this project, so I'm happy with that. Make sure you have plenty of glue sticks on hand because I go through them when I do projects like this. And what I'm going to do is I'll do, on this video is I'll do a layout with the pockets, which is the next one inside the cover, and then I'll do a layout without pockets, and you know, just to give you the gist of how I do my embellishing and designing when I'm working on a project like this. And then I will come back in a few days when the book is finished and show you the rest, and then we'll go through, finish embellishing, and then I'll go through my final step where I do my little, you know, embellishing accents with the fine details. So if you have any questions or comments before the next one, just let me know. Okay, so we're going to leave this for now because we know there's going to be some pearls going on here. And for me, I like to do, you know, things in odd numbers and threes and things for design purposes. So, you know, we have more than that in layers. We've got our base lace that's down here, so that's 1. We've got the placemat, that's 2. The doily, that's 3, and then we've got 2 more, that's 4, 5. So we've got 5 layers going on here. And honestly, I could easily do 2 more, but I'm gonna I'm gonna stop. I also know there's going to be something pretty happening here. This is one of the last things I do is decorate the outside of the spine. So when we open this up, we've got our layout with pockets and a couple of different things you could do. The reason I did the pockets is because I'm going to have doilies in these pockets. They're going to be used. So I don't know that I want to. Normally you could do this if they weren't going to be used for what I'm using it for. You could take a really pretty piece of lace like this and actually glue it on the back side of the pocket so it's sticking up like that. I may still do it. I always put trim, you know, like on the outsides of the pocket, so that's an example of how you could do that either way. And if I had enough of this, I think it would be super cute if I had it down over the pocket like this and also sticking up the same trim. So let's see what we want to put here. This might be a good place to put our rosette trim. I think that's pretty, almost bridal looking. So we're going to cut that. If it's like, if you can see this one's a little bit overboard, you'd always want to leave that extra one going over rather than cut it here where it's too short. So I'm going to leave that one a little bit. This one I just make it to the end. Okay. And if you're going to put the little piece behind on the pockets, don't use something heavy, that will not work. Use something that's really tiny like that, so it'll be easy to stick up there. If it's too heavy, it's going to flop and not stand up straight. So that is a possibility for that. Okay. before I glue these down, I'm going to make sure that there's not anything else. So I'm looking at all of my pieces that are here. See, making sure there's not anything else. And I actually think I'm going to go with some popcorn doilies, which is one of my favorite things, and I hoard those too. I hoard too much of this kind of stuff. Oh gosh, I put too much on my desk and now I can't find everything I'm looking for. This is not always the way. Where did you go, popcorn doily? I've got one. Where did the other one go? I'll have to look. And I'm also thinking I might do, instead of that, I might just go crazy and do this lace here because I think I have enough to do both pockets. Ooh, maybe not. Gosh, I want to use this and I don't think I have enough. Yep, not enough. So we're going to put that aside. Let's see what else we got. I have a hat box that I keep a lot of laces in, and I couldn't actually get them all on my desk, so it's sitting next to me that I may dig through. It might be this one. Oh, that's backwards. So we might have this and then this. I think that's pretty. You could even put in another, full piece of lace here and actually have more dangles. I kept this hanging down so it's kind of a dangle, but there might be something happening here too. So we'll see. Let me see if I like a different lace better. We've got this one. Ooh, that's pretty. Yeah, I like that. So I think that's going to be a keeper for there. So let's get those down. If you're a person that can get into trouble when you give yourself too many choices, then you might want to do it the way I'm doing it, with just junk everywhere on my desk. Okay, I see I guesstimated, and this is too long. I don't want to leave this because it's going into the spine and it's going to affect how it's going to close. So when it's like that, you really want to try and get it precisely to where the pocket ends, because it will affect the book closing, and that's not good. Sorry about that, my scissors wanted to go flying. See, I think this looks really pretty. It's a pretty way to embellish your pocket. The other thing you could do, if you have the pretty tiny little lace or something, for example like this one, you could just do the outline on the whole pocket, you know, all the way around. I am not going to do that with this one because I want to do another dangle at the bottom, and that might get to be overkill. Now, where did I put it? Here it is. Okay. So I think we're going to use this dangle at the bottom. I know it kind of covers this. I could put it under here. Let's see. There's not a whole lot to glue it to, but that might work. Yeah, I think maybe we'll do that. Wish me luck. There's not a whole bunch here to glue this to. Folds down over. That looks pretty. Ouch. Missed a spot. Okay, we'll fold that back down. Just do a quick little trim on the messy ends here. I tend to pull things up when I'm trimming them because I don't want to get what's underneath, just from habit. Okay, so I want to do a little something up here. I mean, they're going to be covered for the most part by the hankies that I'm putting in here, but still, I don't want it to be completely plain up there. And I think I want it to be something sparkly like bridal applique. So let me see, I've got bigger ones. This would actually go down and that would be kind of wasted, so I don't know that I want to use this guy. And then I've got, oh my goodness, you guys, stuff is flying. I have so much stuff everywhere. I have these. That might be pretty because I have enough to do both. Or I could turn one this way. Actually, I think I like them better that way. I think maybe these are going to go at the top. See that? I wish you guys were here with me so you could say, yes, that looks pretty, leave it there. Let's see. I also took out appliques like this. These are good things to put in here. I could have put something like that on each page. Let me see what fell. I'm going to try to do the symmetrical because it's a pocket page like that, so I'm going to try to do more of a unique one on the next one when it's no pockets. Let's see. You could also, if you like, I don't know if I'm going to do that, but down here, if you don't think that's pretty enough, you could still add something like that. Actually, I do like that. So I think we're going to do that real quick. This is one of my favorite ones too, because the color, I don't have to tea dye it. It's the color that it should be already. I love that. A lot of times you find this in white, but this color is perfect. Hope you're enjoying watching this. These are my favorite things to make and my favorite supplies to work with. And sadly, I have enough supplies that I could make many, many, many more of these. I haven't even gotten down my really, really vintagey stuff and antique-y stuff yet. I might do that before next time though, we'll see. Okay, so I like that. Now, let me see. Where did I put that teeny tiny lace? Oh, I can't find it. Isn't that always the way? Okay. Give me 1 second to dig in my lace bucket. My lace hat box. I have glue strings all over me. Not finding the one that I want. We can do this one in a pinch. It's not the one I was looking for, but we'll give it a try. Here's a pretty one. Oh, that's stretchy. Stretchy won't work. Okay, we're gonna go with this one. This one is like a cream. It's not as pretty as the one I wanted, but I think we are gonna put this, we're gonna try really carefully to glue this underneath the pocket there. This is tricky. You just have to do like a little section at a time, and don't let the pocket get glued to the book. That's the trick. So just keep it pulled open like that. And then just press like this, these two together, so it's not going to get on the back of your, glue your pocket to your page. I like it. It's just a little pretty. And it's another way, you know, like another dimension. If you didn't want to put pearls in the center of these flowers, you could actually like pull them apart like this and put a pearl in between as well. Just have fun, play around with it and see what you like. That for me is the most exciting the most exciting part. I love playing around and seeing different things, and that's how you kind of decide what you like, and you come up with things you wouldn't have normally tried because you're just, you know, fooling around with it. Come up with some of my best things that way. Okay, snip this sucker off. Okay, you know you want to go in there. There we go. Okay, so we have a little ruffle sticking up there. I think I'm going to trim this net because you can't really see the ruffle too much. I'm pulling up like that so I don't accidentally the lace. There you go, now you can see it better. Okay, repeat. So I would love it if you're watching, if you would tell me in the comments, what is your favorite supply or supplies to work with? You see what mine is, all these goodies. So what are yours? Oh goodness, okay. Get in there where this glue gets hard. There we go. This is my favorite, but I also like to sew and quilt, so fabric. And I like to do journals, and recently I've been making a bunch of Chunky Charm dangles, and I like to do jelly print papers, paper crafts. But this kind of stuff is my favorite. I know it's not for everybody, so I appreciate you all watching. Just want to make sure that's in there really good. Okay, I think that might even be enough. I don't know. What do you guys think? With those at the top, and remembering there's going to be some pearls and things, do you think we really need to put something here? I think it's okay. You know, I don't want to take away from what we do have going on. I think that looks pretty. So let's glue these down. I'm not going to cut the net away from the bottom of these because I like it. And I'm going to leave the tops just sticking up a little bit over the book because it looks pretty when the book is closed. I do want to tack these down though because I don't want the hankies to get all stuck in them. Okay. Try to make sure you get them at the same height. See? I think that's really pretty. See a little piece that needs to get trimmed right there. Okay, now that didn't take too long, so I'm gonna flip over because again, you know, I could add stuff. Knowing me, I'm not kidding you guys, the struggle is real. I struggle with editing. So feel free to tell me, stop, don't do any more, or put something here, or feel free to tell me. Okay, so we are going to flip over to the next one that is not a pocket page. So this one, you know, the base is on both pages, so I can kind of get crazy and do whatever I want. It doesn't have to be symmetrical. These are kind of fun for me. So let me take a quick drink. And I've pulled out really, really delicate things like this that I've had in my stash forever. Look at this. How gorgeous is that? It's too long and I don't want to chop it up. I want to use it all, you know, keep it intact because it's just so gorgeous. So I'm not going to, that must have been a collar for something, but isn't that stunning? So we'll put that to the side. I think I'm going to do something a little different. Instead of lace or dangles, I think for this page we are going to use some fringe. It's a fun, something different for dangles. Doesn't have to be lace, so I think we're gonna put that aside for the bottom. Now the pages that are open double face like this, I'm going to use pretty pins or kilt pins or different things, vintage brooches or whatever I would decide to pin the hankies on these pages. So I don't have to do symmetrical. I do kind of like these. I really do want these to be in this book somewhere. And I do kind of feel like they should be symmetrical after I just got finished saying I don't have to do symmetrical, but aren't those pretty? They may have to go there. Okay, so let's see. The other thing about me is, if you know me, one of the things I absolutely love and adore is Battenberg lace. So I've got some things like this. I believe this and this one were sent to me by Gail, who's Fava4 on YouTube. So I may end up doing something like that, although that's too pretty to cover up. So we'll save this one for another page. Let's see. I've got this piece that I absolutely love. It's just a small little thing that I tea dyed, but that would be pretty in the middle of this too. See, I just kind of put things down and see what I like. Because this way I could have hankies pinned wherever and it's not too bad. I do want to do something at the top though. I know you can't see the top of the book, I'm sorry. Let's see what we like. No, we don't like that one. We'll have to look for a different lace that's pretty for like an edging there. That one might be pretty. Oh, that's an elastic one too. Oh, I like this one. I think we might stick with this one. Isn't that pretty? Yeah, I think we like that. Okay. So you guys see that took me all of, a minute and a half to decide what I liked pretty much. Okay, so let's get this glued down. Is that the right side? It is so hard sometimes to tell what's the front and what's the back on some of these. Yep. Okay. Just try to follow the lines in the design if you can. That's a good way to make sure your glue is not gonna go through the little holes and be seen. That's a good thing to do, is if you have it exactly where you want it, placement wise, do what I just did. So you know this is in the middle, so you can flip up and glue, put it right back down, flip down and glue. That way you're not going to lose your placement. When I get to the spine, I do kind of stick it down in there so it will make the book close okay. This obviously you don't want sticking up too far because you're going to have hankies pinned to it, or I am. And if you are making one of these with me, what are you going to use it for? Are you just going to have it to love it and pet it and have it on display somewhere, or are you going to use it to hold some of your treasured items? Are you making it for a gift? Or you don't want to make one and you're just watching me. I think maybe we should tack these corners down just in case. I'm so excited, you guys, that I'm going to use these. Oh, I've been holding on to these. I think these were probably for a shoulder of a gown or something. I just love them though, so I'm excited that we're going to use these finally. I have had these literally for years. These are probably iron-on, but I'm gluing. In the interest of time. Okay. Oh, aren't those yummy? Love it. This one wants to get all crazy and jiggle around everywhere. I don't think so, sir. Okay. Pretty? I like so far. Okay, so we're going to use this, another piece that I've been holding on to that I just loved and wanted to put it somewhere special. This makes me so happy that I'm getting to use all these bits that I've been holding on to. Kind of stretch it out to make sure before you press the glue down that you got it where you want it. And then this is so fun because you could put little buttons right here. Pearls, the flowers, whatever you like. Oh, dreaded glue strings. If you could see, my hands are all over. And my clothes. Okay, let's glue this little one now. I'm going to just make sure I don't want it to go upside down, but no. Okay. I should have not glued this down, so we're going to kind of pull this down for a second and redo it. Go. Okay, let's get you tacked back down. I think that's pretty. Oh, I stuck my finger right in that glue. Woo! All right, I like it. You guys see now we're going to go back down to the bottom here. And we're going to put down some trim, or some fringe. Fringe, fringe, fringe. See, I've got stuff everywhere falling at me. Oh. This fringe is tangled. Pretty sure I got this fringe from Bella Vista Marketplace as well. Oh, come on, untangle. Okay. I know I'm covering up this pretty little scalloped edge, but that's okay. This is the hard part when you have to cut fringe and it all goes flying. Okay. Trim that a little better. Okay, now I want to, there we go, I want to get the little piece off the bottom so my fringe will actually be fringe now. There we go. Wow, this one's hard to get off. It's not pulling like most of them do. Gotta be very careful, I don't want to, ooh, that one doesn't want to come off. Yeah, that's what I was afraid of, so we might have to cut this. It's kind of coming apart a little bit there. Let's try from the other side. Maybe we'll just meet in the middle. You know we're going to put something over this part of this trim anyway. There we go. Yay. Alright, we've got some pretty fringe here. Can't talk. It's actually late, you guys don't know, but I'm doing some late night crafting, so it's actually pretty late here. So let's see. Do we want to go with some more white and put something like that over it? I don't know. Do I want this one again, which I really like, because that does look pretty over there. You could do a trim like this if you wanted to. That would completely cover your fringe. That looks nice too. Do this one. Okay, I think I'm going to do that one. Call me crazy. And then that one. That makes me happy, so we're going to go with that. I don't think that's over the top too much. I think that is just enough. Whenever there's a teeny tiny little edge like on this one right here, I always want to put something to cover that up that's pretty. I guess that's just my preference. There's totally nothing wrong with it. I just seem to always want to do that. Sorry about the noise when I keep picking up and putting down my glue gun. I'm actually being gentle with it. I usually throw it around in my scissors too. So I'm trying not to make too much noise. And I know this doesn't look like a showstopper yet, but it will by the time we're done. We still have more things to go. Okay. I think that's pretty. Now, I think we need to see if we can find some buttons to go right here. Nothing in the middle because it's right in the spine, but let's see if we can find some cute buttons. Do you guys have this problem? You have too many buttons to choose from, and then the one that I want, I don't want it to have a shank, and it always has a shank. Then I have to get out my Timmy scissors to cut it off. I always want one that's I know I'm picky about the buttons, I'm sorry. Look at this one for the button lovers. Look at that gloss button. Isn't that beautiful? That's a hoard. There's some more hoards. We could put some bling if we have 4 of those. Do we have 2 more? It doesn't look like it. Look at that pretty one. I'm not seeing 2 more. I've got some glass ones. What do you think of that to give it some bling? I think I'm okay with that. Something a little different. Okay, let's scoop up these buttons and let's look what we've done so far. So just remember, if you're doing this along with me at home and you want to work on yours before next time, it's just do your layers. Don't glue things down until you're happy with it if you're going to do it that way. If you're doing it the way I do, just kind of design on the go and keep building until you like what you see. Don't glue your bottom dangles down though until, you know, so you don't have to rip it up to put your dangles on. You want to keep things in odd numbers. Make sure you're putting down little things for interest, you know, your little blings or sparklies. I could have done more to this page, honestly. I could have put some on the sides here, but that's kind of why we put these ruffles down, because if we don't want to, it's completely okay the way it is. So I didn't want to do it. I could, even if I wanted to put a little something down that's not lacy or something like that, just to make it look more finished, but I'm fine with the way it looks. Okay, so let's give the little lick-see. And you can see, even by doing the pages we've done, it's already becoming a chunky monkey, and I love that. So we've got our front cover, back cover, our first pocket page spread, and then our first double page open page spread. So I hope you've enjoyed watching me play with all my favorite things. I am going to go ahead and keep going because I've got one more pocket, no, two more pocket and one more double page to do. So I'm going to do those and then come back probably next week to show you that, and then we'll go over the final steps. So thank you so much for watching. If you're new to my channel, please hit the subscribe button, and if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. See you all again soon. Bye bye.